Welcome to Sage Talk. Sage represents wisdom and talk represents stories. How do we receive wisdom? Well, good judgment comes from experience, and a lot of that comes from bad judgment. What do we do with that wisdom? Through all of time, traditions are preserved by the sharing of stories, and each of us must boldly communicate our stories to the universe. Why is this important? Because to fulfill our purpose, we must share the best of who we are to enlighten, empower, and encourage those who will follow our example. Let's get started. Four Horsemen. All great thriller movies have this in common. There are four heroes, each with a different and extreme temperament type, who are brought together by the hand of fate to overcome impossible odds. During the adventure, it becomes clear to us that all four of those different and extreme temperaments combined into one powerful force were absolutely necessary for good to triumph over evil. For each of us individually, the same principle holds true. We must incorporate the four temperaments into our hero persona to be well balanced and successful in our ventures. Types of thinkers. There are three dimensions to human thought: flatliners, 2D, and 3D. Flatliners are just that. Draw a line from left to right, and that represents the zombies of the world. They don't think, they just exist. If we let that flat line represent the horizon, there is never anything on it. No ideas, no plans, and no sense of direction or purpose. 2D thinkers have a horizontal and vertical axis. In addition to left and right, they have an up and a down. Now we get a picture of who they are. Literally, as we view any work of canvas art, we have a sense of the creator's style, taste, and intention. 3D thinkers have a depth to their thoughts. That flat picture image we admired for a moment now extends backward and forward to offer an exciting opportunity for us to engage with that individual. Relationship strategies. There are many variations of the quadrant philosophy. For the sake of this presentation, I'll offer two, which I believe will enlighten, empower, and encourage you to invest time in your own discovery. Discovery of what, you ask? Of you and how to connect with me, I say. Imagine a map of the United States. Now draw the horizontal and vertical axis. In essence, make a big plus sign across the map. Each of us lives in one of the four quadrants. Then think about where your friends live. Do you always expect them to cross those axis lines to visit you? Or is it more fun to go visit them? The point: we study relationship strategies to understand how to get to where others are, because three-fourths of them do not live in our quadrant. DISC, D-I-S-C. One prominent personality profiling model is DISC, which is the acronym for these four profiles: dominance, influence, steadiness, and conscientiousness. For a small fee, you too can discover your location in the quadrants by testing. Please remember, we go through this exercise not to obtain a label, but instead to increase our understanding of how to better connect with other people. I believe in leading the way to make the path easier for those who choose to follow. So here are the results of my DISC Classic 2.0. I'm an objective thinker. DISC simplification. So let's simplify DISC by using the analogy of target practice with a rifle, the performance of which is best achieved by ready, aim, fire. A high C sharpshooter, remember that's your favorite Sage Talk author, will do this: ready, aim, 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 while considering distance to target, weight of bullet, grain of powder, composition of target, wind velocity, barometric pressure, etc. Somewhere in the sequence, probably after about the third aim, your head is about to explode. Our bad. Me, a high C, need data, lots of data, because we intend to be precise in the result when we eventually commit to squeezing the trigger. I have many high D friends. Their approach to our target practice is fire, ready, aim. In fact, they're probably using their semi-automatic to blast away. No worries, mate. Knock them all down. We'll sort out the pieces later. Their motto is just get it done and get it done now. Oh, look, here comes And a high I at that, dressed to the nines in his sporting jacket, puffy pants, fancy cap, high top boots, and he has a designer shooting iron draped over his arm. He's ready for the party, drinks, and conversation after we punch a few holes. And yes, that's a high S standing off to the side, making sure all the spent cartridges are gathered and wondering if we really need to make this much noise. Bill Engvall has the right idea for the galactically stupid people of the world and expresses it in his comedic routine, Here's Your Sign. Yet by considering the inside above, the question becomes, are they really stupid? Or are they just doing the best they can with what they know and the resources available to them? And is it possible that because their disc sign is different from ours, they're thinking we're the stupid ones? KWML. Now let's have even more fun with a different set of quadrants: king, warrior, magician, and lover. Yes, once again, I have whacked a path through the thickets for us. As much as I wanted to be a king, because after all, the meaning of the name Kim is chief, and many of my friends, when we're working together, affectionately use that term quite liberally. So my first time through the assessment was Thursday, April 19th, during that week after tax season, when I had time for me. As I surveyed my kingdom through the large windows of my Red Lodge home, of which the 18th fairway was an extension of the backyard, all was well in the realm. Sure enough, at that moment, I was a king. Then the next week, it was back to work. After a few days off, evidently the forces that be decided I was ready to be engaged in new adventures. It was a Wednesday, April 25th, when I made it back to the castle after a busy day of slaying dragons. I thought, let's take that silly KWML test again, because today was a typical day in my universe. Hello, Spartacus. Of force of nature, warriors have the power and confidence to conquer any task. Confident, competitive, and analytical, you are a fierce and steady protector of your friends, family, and all things you hold dear. You're extremely ambitious, targeted, and determined, almost to a fault of being self-centered, and are an undeniable force of industriousness. While you're logical, orderly, and respect the rules like the king and queen, you're much more assertive and always ready to dive into action or conflict. Because you prefer to be somewhat isolated, you tend to have few very good friends. But these friends definitely count on you whenever there's a task to be done with precision. Location on the cognitive emotional spectrum, located in the lower left quadrant of this spectrum, your personality reflects your strong emotional sense of confidence. Your style of thinking tends to be more left brain, logical, sequential, rational, and objective. Give up the battle to win the war. Dare to be occasionally weak to be seen as real to others, and find that enemies can become friends if you let them have a bit of the power. Again, the only reason I share this with you is to encourage you to understand where you are in relationship to other people. Silverado, released to theaters in 1985, same year as the birth of my daughter Lindsay, the movie Silverado is a family favorite. The heroes are Emmett, Mal, Jake, and Peyton. In thinking about sharing this story with you, I practiced the outline with my son Ryan a few days ago. He helped me identify the king, warrior, magician, and lover from the cast of Silverado. King is Emmett Scott Glenn. Warrior, Mal, Danny Glover. Magician, Jake, Kevin Costner. Lover, Peyton, Kevin Kline. Now, even as I type that out for us, you see the pattern in the types of roles each of these four actors choose and for which they are best known. I rest my case. There is something special about the KWML quadrants. 4 and 1, CCPT. Often I'm asked, what's the difference between a coach and a consultant? The simple answer is one asks all the questions and the other has all the answers. My mom offered daily prayers that I'd go to Ambassador College and be trained as a preacher. I have always wanted, though, to follow more in the footsteps of my dad and become a teacher. Coach. They ask questions with the belief that eventually you'll tap into your inner child and find the wisdom to deal with your own dang problems. Consultant. They show up on the scene to fix what is broken and bring with them the solutions to all of your problems. Preacher, they are passionate in the crusade to persuade you to believe you can enjoy heaven on earth now if you are willing to sacrifice your ego. Teacher, they will share with you all of the tricks and tips from their vast libraries of education and experience to assist in your journey of learning how to fish. Cowboy poet, Philadelphia lawyer. Some more initials for us. CPPL. The self-proclaimed label of cowboy poet is to honor the importance of heroes and the power of words. As a kid, I wore a fancy tied down two-gun rig with which to dispatch the bad guys. Now I rely on the proverb, truly, the pen is mightier than the sword. I received the title of Philadelphia lawyer from my dad when I was about 10 years old. We were unloading sacks of cow salt out of the pickup into the granary one evening, and I was doing my 20 questions routine. Evidently, I lost track of the number, and it must have been a long day for Dad. In exasperation and with a smile, he declared, Kim, you ask so many questions that I'm sure you're going to grow up to be a Philadelphia lawyer. He didn't miss the mark by much. When it comes to putting together the conference room deals of our society, attorneys and CPAs are usually sitting side by side. 50 years after Dad's observation, that natural curiosity has grown exponentially. The questions have become more focused and the intent is pure. I want to help you build something special. The mental image of a cowboy poet and Philadelphia lawyer is one of ostensible contradiction, yet these four words remind me that life is best experienced on a spectrum. So think of a sphere, then imagine the axis lines holding it symmetrical from the inside out, like the 4 points of a compass. As far as the east is from the west, opposite ends of the axis lines are required for balance. Growth occurs when we push the artificial limit of where the internal axis lines end, which are at the edge of who we currently are. As we stretch the boundaries, the result is a greater sphere of influence for the benefit of many. These spectrums of life stretch to infinity if we have the courage to let our minds become open to the vastness of the universe and the unlimited potential of each individual. The cornerstones of my heritage are spurs and books. What rows are to spurs, vows are to words. They are the jingle of rhythm and points of meaning. A cowboy warrior is a man of action and defender of principle. The thoughtful approach of a poet lover casts a soft and gentle hue. Philadelphia king is symbolic of friendship and brotherly love. When those attributes are absent in a relationship, a lawyer, magician, intends to discover the facts and just the facts, man. Compass bearings. As we begin to summarize these different quadrant philosophy variations, I want the KWML to be our true north. Therefore, I'll restate the order of DISC, CCPT, and CPPL to match king, warrior, magician, and lover. The bold words are the primary strengths I will bring to any relationship. King, dominant, coach, Philadelphia. Warrior, conscientious, consultant, cowboy. Magician, influence, preacher, lawyer. Lover, steadiness, teacher, poet. Choose wisely. I hope these stories about the study of relationship strategies and the application of quadrant philosophy have inspired you to think about your role in meeting others where they are, to push the boundaries of who we are and to better serve those in our sphere of influence. We must be relentless in applying all four temperaments. Ask, seek, and knock on doors of opportunity until you discover a master to offer their version of the 3 E's: enlighten, empower, and encourage. Otherwise, you will be left in the dark with no tools and a feeling of hopelessness. Many people are simply trudging through life, enduring each day, because they are waiting for someone to save them from their earthly troubles. They have been led astray by wolves in sheep's clothing to believe that they must wait for the kingdom of heaven. And that, dear friends, is the importance of little words. There is a world of difference between of and in. Think about it. Of denotes belonging to, and ins specifies location. It is impossible for any of the scholarly ministers in their whited sepulchres to show me even one scripture reference to the exact phrase, kingdom in heaven. Let's move around those on our way and claim the treasures promised to us. A better way. Saddle up and ride with me. The four horsemen of Silverado have shown us what is possible. A misfit bunch of friends come together to right the injustices which exist in a small town. The only difference between them and us is scope. We intend to make a difference in the universe. You can enjoy heaven on earth now. Let's ride.